Hello friends, this is tutorial number 70 in this C++ programming language course. In this tutorial we will talk about iterator and Foreach loop. We already know how to work with vectors, how to add some elements in the vector, and we already know how to print them. We usually used for loop and while loop. And now in this tutorial we will simply create one vector, and we will print that vector using iterator, and also we will print it using for each loop. First we need to include a vector from C++ library. And we will create one vector of integers, for example. Vector of integer, the name of the vector will be numbers. We will simply add some numbers into this vector. Let's type numbers dot push back. These are things that we already know. We will add few numbers into this vector. I will use copy and paste. We will add 5-6 numbers inside. And let's write some numbers, for example 13, 15, 25, 4 and 9 or 8. We have one more number I forgot here. It can be 20. Okay, we have our vector, and now what we want to do, we just want to print this vector using iterator. First we will need to create iterator. It will be vector of integer, and we need to type two dots 2 times, and we need to type iterator. And we need to give a name to this iterator. We will call it ITR. It will be the simplest way. And we will write one sentence: cout printing vector using iterator. To use this iterator we will need a for loop, and inside we need to write 3 conditions. First condition will be itr will be equals to, we want to iterate over this vector of numbers. We will write numbers dot begin. The second condition will be itr not equals to numbers dot end. And the third condition will be itr plus plus. This means that with this iterator itr we will iterate over this vector of numbers. This will be the pointer to the elements of this vector of numbers. We now simply want to print these values inside the vector. We'll write cout itr. As I already said, itr will be pointer to the elements of this vector of numbers. And if we want to run this program now, we will get an error, because this iterator itr will be the pointer to the elements of this vector, will be the pointer. This means that we need to write pointer sign. And now let's try to run this program again. Let's build and run. As you can see, printing vector using iterator, and we have our numbers 13, 15, 25, 4, 8 and 20. We printed this vector using iterator. It is pretty much simple. As you can see, the most important part is this condition. We want to iterate over a vector of integers, this vector of numbers. This means that we need to create a vector of integer. We need to create iterator for the vector of integer itr. We are writing a for loop with three conditions. itr equals to this begin of the vector from which we will iterate, not equals to numbers dot end, and we will increment itr, and we will print. This will print all the elements inside this vector. It will be, this iterator will be the pointer to all of these elements inside the vector. Okay, we will use it in the next tutorials. And also the most very important thing is for each loop. I will also show you how we can print a vector using for each loop. If you have experience with Java, you already know what for each loop can do. But if you don't have experience, I will show you now. It is pretty much simple. We want to iterate over this vector of integer using for each loop. First we will write one sentence, printing vector using for each loop /n and line. Okay, this is the vector of integers. This means we need to write for, and we need to create one integer. Integer will be n. Integer n from a vector of numbers, because this is vector numbers is a vector of integer. We need to create one integer variable which will pass through all elements of this vector. We just want to print it, and this means that we will just write cout n line, and this should print all of elements of the vector. We will try to run this program now, but it can be one problem. But okay, it works now. Printing vector using iterator. As you can see, these are the numbers, and this is printing vector using for each loop. It works properly. As you can see, we have printed it in two ways. Of course, we know how to do it with classic for loop, and also we can do it with while loop. But this can be a little bit simpler using these two ways are also important, and we will also use it oftenly in the in the next tutorials. But one thing what I wanted to tell you about, I will see to my compiler. Okay, as you can see, maybe when you test this for each loop, maybe you will get an error, you will get some endless loop. In the case that you're getting endless loop in your compiler, I will show you again. I already show you in some of the previous tutorials. If you get some endless loop, it is better to turn on this C++70. Now I turned it off, and I will try to, but it still works. But it is better if your C++17 is turned off. It is better to turn it on when you want to use for each loop. And if you get this, for example, you turn it on and again you will get some endless loop, you can also try to write it without these curly braces. I know that sometimes it can be a problem. As you can see, it still runs now, but it is better to have curly braces. This will mean the end of the for each loop. But these are the two ways. If you get an error, turn on C++17 to your compiler, and if you get some errors with endless loop again, you can try writing this without curly braces. And if you have some problems with for each loop, you can also type in comment on, or you can contact me in Instagram. You have a link in the description.